to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, I'm going to be doing a quick summary of what I consider to be three key areas that a lot of hypnotherapists or therapists in general tend to struggle with. And I've been mentoring various hypnotherapists that are maybe at the earlier stages of their career, of their practice. And I've learned a lot from some of the biggest challenges that hypnotherapists face. And therefore, I thought I would create a short episode just to give some insight in terms of what the key issues are and some of the key areas that might help in those areas. So to summarize, the three key areas that I've seen again and again comes down to client acquisition. Most hypnotherapists are not generating sufficient clients to keep being a hypnotherapist. And fundamentally, I think the tragedy of hypnotherapy are that there are very, very talented hypnotherapists that don't have the same level of skills or understanding in generating clients as they do in hypnotherapy, which unfortunately means there are people out there in the world that won't get the help they need because that talent is not meeting the people that need that particular help. So client acquisition is a key area that I think a lot of hypnotherapists could benefit from. I think technology is also one of those areas. A lot of people that are attracted to the world of hypnotherapy and to become a hypnotherapist are coming from a very empathetic and caring perspective. And they're not always the most interested in technology or how to leverage technology. So I think technology can amplify the efficacy of a hypnotherapist. For example, the majority of my clients are actually based in the States or outside of the UK. I wouldn't be able to do that unless I utilized technology. And then the third key area is digital products, which is an evolution, if you like, of the technology issue. But it means that for those hypnotherapists that can create digital products and know how to sell digital products, it can actually dramatically increase their income. And when I offer mentorship one-on-one with hypnotherapists, really it's about doing certain key things to immediately make their business more profitable. And there's two key ways that you make a business more profitable. First of all, you cut the costs that are wasteful in some way. And a lot of hypnotherapists, they might have physical premises that they don't need anymore. They might be spending money on marketing or resources that isn't very effective. So therefore, reducing costs, but mainly increasing revenue. And there are many ways in which you can increase revenue as a hypnotherapist. So going into each of those areas in a bit more depth, if we look at client acquisition really needs to start with what is your brand and how will people find you? Having a website is good, but having certain things on that website is even more important. So do you have, for example, evidence of your competency? Do people know what you specialize in? So that element of marketing and branding, but then also you need some kind of systematic way to generate leads. Now, if I look at my business, for example, I get a lot of my clients from word of mouth and referral, which is fine when you've been in business for a while, but in the early stages, you don't have that client base for them to be telling their friends and family about you. So you need some kind of system to do that. In the early days of my business, because I wasn't known yet, I relied very much on Google AdWords. And that can be utilized if you have a particular niche that you're working in to generate clients in a relatively cost-effective way, because you're finding people that are motivated to find a solution to a specific problem. These days, the majority of my clients actually comes from people that listen to the podcast or see my videos on YouTube. And then there's an element of credibility already there because they know who I am, and there's a very easy way for them to find out more information about me. And then it's about getting the commitment. So what I tend to offer is a free 30-minute consultation call, and that enables people to ask me questions and for me to ask them questions to figure out what their issue is, to see if what I've helped other people with might be useful for the individual that I'm talking to on that 30-minute consultation call. So those are some of the areas to look at. If you're a hypnotherapist, what is your niche? What is your specialization? What is your brand? And one of the key things that I think is useful in the early stages of being a hypnotherapist is not to call your brand your name. So quite often it's first name, last name hypnosis or first name, last name hypnotherapy. But that doesn't let the potential client know what your niche is. So my first couple of brands in the world of hypnotherapy were Phobia Guru. So it made it clear that I can help people with phobias, or Hypno Slimming, which is a weight loss hypnosis brand. So something to think about there if you are a hypnotherapist. Are people able to figure out what you do from the name of your company? And also, do you have some kind of systematic way for people to go on a journey and find out who you are? And you've got to make it really easy for people to work with you. So these are areas that when I mentor people, I really go into a bit more depth and actually show people how to do this kind of stuff, particularly hypnotherapists that are talented in hypnotherapy, but don't necessarily know how to generate clients and to price their proposition at the right level. In terms of technology, I think a lot of people are very comfortable with Zoom, but there are things that you can do to amplify your effectiveness if you are doing online client sessions. And the two obvious ones are quality of microphone and the quality of the camera. So if you're watching this on YouTube rather than listening, let's say on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you'll be able to see that the resolution of this image is better than, let's say, a camera phone or better than a standard webcam. So this is exactly the same quality that when clients work with me from all over in the world, they're seeing me in HD quality, but also they're hearing me in studio quality. And one of the things that I recommend for hypnotherapists is that in the old days of hypnotherapy, you needed a therapy room to see people face to face. In the modern days of working with clients around the world, you don't need a therapy room, you need a studio. And fortunately, I've been working in the area of broadcast for a very long time. So this is a domain I'm very comfortable with. So that is a way to leverage the technology. The technology of implementing your proposition, whatever that is very useful to have good quality technology, but also make sure you've got the right integrations that make it easy for people to book appointments and make it easy for people to pay online. That's also essential. And then the third point, which kind of touches on that, is the digital products. Can people that can't afford to work with you one-on-one still work with you in a different way? And I encourage all hypnotherapists to have 3 key levels, if you like, of opening up their services. I recommend all hypnotherapists create a certain level of content and service for free. So the way that I offer free stuff is really through my YouTube channel and my podcast. I put a lot of time, a lot of effort into that, and that's just going out there. So if someone wanted to work with me, but through my voice and through my recordings, they could listen to hundreds of my sessions through my podcast or YouTube channel at no cost whatsoever. And people would say, well, what's the point of giving away your services for free? The answer is 2 clear things. One, it comes about building an audience. Okay, so the person that's working with you for free now quite often is the person that works with you in a paid for way later. So it's not unusual for me to work with clients and they say, well, I've been listening to your show for ages, or I've seen your videos on YouTube, but can you help me with this specific area here? I'm already known to them. So although I was working with them in a free way for a long time, it's only a small step to go from free to a paid for relationship. So offering stuff for free is an important element of the process if you are a hypnotherapist. The second level is a low cost way of working with people. So for example, for me on my website, which is adamcox.co.uk, you can actually get a download of a studio quality hypnosis session for £5, and that's the equivalent of about $5.50. So even if someone can't afford, let's say, a few $100s or a few £100 to work with me over 2 or 3 sessions, they can certainly work with me in this kind of downloadable way. So there is low cost audio downloads and videos and things like that don't cost very much, but they can still work with me. They're still getting the essence, even if it's not customized and bespoke to them. So you want to have a low cost selection of products that people can buy at no hassle to you. It's important that they've got the ability to click a button, pay the order, and it's automatically sent to them, and you just see the money coming into your account. So you need a low cost way so that you're making money while you're asleep if you're a hypnotherapist. And then the third level is the one-to-one relationships. And the one-to-one relationships, naturally are priced higher because you have to physically be there. And therefore you can put a price on the scarcity of your time. So when people work one-to-one with me, it's not cheap to work with me, but people are willing to work with me if they have confidence in my abilities to help them with a specific problem, in which case it's fine for me and it's fine for you if you're a hypnotherapist to price your services according to the value, but also the demand for your services. People say, oh, just double your prices. Well, if you double your prices but you have no clients, that's not a good strategy. So you have to price it at the right point where people are willing to pay that, but still valuing your services and the level of impact that you have on people. And this is the final thing that if you're a hypnotherapist listening to this, that I want you to really connect with. And that is that we are in the business of helping people make significant changes, and therefore that has a value. And if you price what you do too low, what you're going to find is that clients don't really value what you do, and they perceive it in the wrong way. So be confident enough to set a reasonable price that values your time, but also values the opportunity cost. And the reason why I price my services at the price that I do is because I have multiple income streams, multiple demands on my time, and therefore I have to price my sessions not just at what I think I'm worth in terms of the value, but also if I'm spending an hour with a client, I can't also spend that hour doing other things, and that's why I price my time accordingly, and you should do the same. What I want to end this session with really is that if any of these areas resonate with you as a therapist, as a hypnotherapist, and you feel like you could tap into my experience or thoughts or just understanding of these different areas, there will be a link nearby where you can book basically a mentorship taster session with me at a heavily reduced rate. So normally for a 60-minute mentorship session is about £250, and that equivalent of about $280, something like that. But you can actually book the first taster session for £20 or about $22. So if you are a hypnotherapist and you feel like you want to pick my brains for an hour on any of these topics or anything else that you think I might be able to help with, book that. The one thing I will say, just in full transparency, at the end of that taster session, I will explain how I work on a longer term mentorship basis, but you don't have to say yes to that. So there is an element of a sales pitch in there, but without any obligation to say yes. And that's just me being completely transparent, because that's the only way that I can justify an hour of my time at £20, is that some people that do that taster session then see sufficient value to then work with me on a longer term mentorship basis. No obligation on that, but it is there for consideration. So I appreciate if you normally listen to my hypnosis sessions, you might have been wondering what the hell this has all been about. But every now and then I do sessions that aren't hypnotherapy sessions, but more kind of advice or answering questions and that kind of stuff. And when I launched my mentorship program, I just decided that around about once a month, I'd give some tips to hypnotherapists, because I know from the emails that I receive that actually quite a large proportion of the people that listen to the podcast are other hypnotherapists. So this is tips and tricks to kind of help them with their business. But if you do want that discounted mentorship session, click the link nearby. You can get that at about £20, about $22. And you can spend an hour with me and we'll just talk about your business and the kind of things that might have a positive impact. Thanks for watching and see you again soon.